friends and family, my fellow Gorilla Gang. We're back again to give you a little more of an update on ticker symbol AMC. This is not a dead cat. Not a dead cat. This is not a dead cat. Not a dead cat. Not a dead fucking cat, guys. Not a dead cat. Not a dead cat. This is not a dead cat. Not a dead cat. Not a dead cat. We got a George W. Foreman here. Not a dead cat. Not a dead cat. This is not a dead cat. Not a dead cat. Not a dead fucking cat, guys. Not a dead cat. Not a dead cat. This is not a dead cat. Not a dead cat. Not a dead cat. And we got a George W. It's not gonna be bullish. It's not gonna be bearish. It's gonna go. So what is up, everybody? Welcome to Trades. We freaking talk fast and don't skip class. I like to preface by saying that I'm not a financial advisor nor expert, so take what I say with a grain of salt. I'm not here to bullshit people. I'm here to tell you guys what I think about the stock. And in the short term, right, the next 1-2 days, counting today, I was bearish because of exactly this. This is nowhere near the end, right? This does not mean the stock is done. I've seen this idea circulating around based on essentially the voting system that's taking place that Adam Aaron put together. By the way, freaking genius. It's a great way to get an idea of the actual share count. Now, I've seen the idea based on essentially a 1,200 share average per person based on the people who have voted so far, but you have about 4 billion shares. This can be actual real proof right before your eyes of naked short selling, failure to delivers, and synthetic shares. It still does not add up. The math does not add up. If Adam Aaron gets any sort of information that he can pull from this and report to the SEC, whatever it may be, this shows you everything you need to know, my friends. 1185 is the average amount of shares being held by the 20%, essentially coming from that voting that's taken place so far. Then you've got that 80% with an average of 120, and that's where his math is coming from for 1.48 billion shares. It doesn't add up because you have 500 million share free float, about 516 million shares outstanding. Doesn't add up. If it doesn't make sense, it's probably for a fucking reason. The manipulation is there, and the manipulation is not, and it's there, and then it's not, and then it's not. The only weapon that these hedge funds, the big firms, the fat pigs, all these cats out on their yachts and their freaking Lamborghinis, what they have against you is this: emotion, psychology. They've got the mainstream media. They've got all these news articles. They infiltrate the community and try and divide people away from each other. That's their weapon. Oh, decent. We're having some really nice string of momentum come together at AMC. It is so stupidly dangerously close to breaking out of that zone. I'm expecting this to get a break over that 5250 level because you've got a lot of different confirmations of this going in the right direction. This is monstrous, and this is very, very similar to what you saw happen right before that major run-up in June. This is repeating history all over again, and I think the move is going to be more explosive than the last one. The shorts have not covered their positions. The lemon pepper tendies are about to come raining from the sky. It just looks good, right? There's no other way to put it. The shorts haven't covered their positions. The things are heading in the right direction. A lot of bullish orders coming into this. $100 call. There's somebody out there betting $50,000 or more that this thing's going to be above $100. Premium calls versus puts, overwhelmingly bullish, almost 75%. The volume, overwhelmingly bullish, 74%, right? So I would say once you get that $52.5, $53, $54 level and those start running in the money and the market makers have to worry about coming out net negative on those trades, it's going to start getting pretty crazy. And that runs it up to $60 and that runs it up to 70. That runs it up to all-time highs. I mean, we're getting really dangerously close to some significant price action. Are you guys sick of these silly chickens, Citadel Securities, Vlad Tenev, all these big players trying to back up all this nonsense taking place, saying, oh, it never happened, it never did. I've done a little bit of digging in terms of some previous insider trading studies that have been done, and that's what I would consider the Citadel Securities and Robinhood debacle that you watched take place back in January. It was insider trading. They decided to hit the freaking kill button, and it wiped out millions of people's freaking portfolios in the blink of an eye. I want to talk about what's happening here with Robinhood, with Citadel, with Vlad Tenev, Kenny Griffin, all these freaking big players coming out and claiming as if none of these things ever freaking happened. Is any person who's committed a major crime, the Lehman Brothers, a couple different studies that I'm going to show you guys, they're never going to come straight out and tell you, just clear as day, I committed this crime, put me in prison. They're going to bet that their lawyers, which they've paid millions of dollars, I would assume, are going to be able to freaking bail them out. Well, you can look at freaking naked short selling, you look at failure to delivers, you can look at infiltration, you look at the freaking headlines, payment for order flow being the best way to profit within the stock market, coming from people just simply fulfilling trades that most of the time are already rigged because payment for order flow is often completed by people like Citadel. With Citadel, with Vlad Tenev, that all the apes are freaking fixated on, right? I'm a young kid, I'm 24 years old, I don't know much about the world, but I can tell you this. If I was in those shoes, and I knew that I messed up that bad and I screwed millions of people out of their money, I would never in a million years, this guy, if I was Kenny Griffin, what do? You either put yourself in prison for life or you lie. And guess what he's doing? He's lying. Nobody wants gonorrhea. Nobody wants to clap. Just kind of sucks. Now check this out. Court dismissed a suit claiming Robinhood Citadel prevented meme stock trading. The district judge who presided over that case, her name was Cecilia Antonaga. And why I find her specific mannerisms to be a pattern, what I am telling you is there are some very obvious patterns that are taking place here. Drawing dick pics during depositions at Dunkin' Donuts, because there's nothing like a great dick pic to bring your attention back to the case at hand. Apparently the behavior was too much for opposing counsel Jason Kupel to handle, because he complained to the court that they had systemically engaged in inappropriate and offensive behavior. This was a case that was dismissed by the judge, Cecilia. Drawing dick pics during depositions at Dunkin' Donuts. I mean, I guess at one point or another, we were all freaking 12-year-old kids sitting in math class with nothing better to do than practice our cursive signature and draw dick pics on a notebook. You shouldn't do this as an attorney, obviously. But does that mean you should overstep the process of the justice system? Whatever she decided for this outcome, this is more of a funny sort of situation, but this is one of the two notable court cases that this judge has handled in the previous 10 years. Judge slashes SEC's proposed fine for ex-Miami budget director. Very similar situation to what we saw recently with the Citadel case. They said, look, we're backed by the SEC. They said they didn't find shit, right? We don't know much. Back in 2016, a federal judge has rejected the U.S. Securities and Exchange Commission's request for a record $450,000 penalty against the former Miami budget director found liable for misleading municipal bond investors, fining the man $15,000 instead of $450,000. Guys, we have the freaking buy button being taken away in January for multiple stocks across the board. We had multi-$100 million theft, billion-dollar theft that took place right underneath our noses. People like this fuck up the judicial system. They're messing with the justice system. I mean, I really do think, and I do think it was going to happen, but I just want to point this out to you because I have talked about this previously, and I just decided to dig up a little more, right? I don't think this sort of thing should happen. I think this should be refiled, and the judge who's assigned to that should be thoroughly investigated ahead of time. You know, on days like today, oh my goodness. Guys, welcome back to another trade video. This is a double slash triple top rejection that could lead to some sell-off. You've got the Evergrande situation. This could be about the inflation rates being at basically all-time highs, uncertainty, overextended markets, possibly some bubbles amongst a whole bunch of different stocks. I don't think you're done with the pain yet. I could be wrong. Maybe it's going to go up tomorrow. I could be absolutely wrong. Very obvious there was some buying pressure and an attempt to get a move back up, but it's continuing on this downtrend. Short interest hasn't changed. Short still haven't covered positions. You're not seeing any sort of squeeze effect on the stock. Therefore, right, shorts are still here. But one thing that sometimes gets frustrating is when people say the price isn't real. When people cash out of AMC right now at $23, if they're selling for a loss, it's very real. What keeps me up at night and what makes it hard for me to sleep is I've shook some hands and I've seen tears roll down real people's faces. Real people who are struggling, you know, who say, Trey, I bought at $55, $60 and I'm down a lot of money right now. But at the end of the day, I can't change how you feel. Guys, I'm going to keep this sweet, simple, short, to the point, because I do think there's potential that this today was a setup for a very small pullback bull trap. And you might see a minor pullback, and I want to prepare you for that. It needs to hold this flat top area for me to feel as if this is not a false breakout. In fact, that's the only reason that I do believe you may see a continuation heading into tomorrow, if that's something that you're interested in watching. You know, if you swing back here quite a ways, is where you see some rejections back to the upside. A hold over this flat top that it is currently trying to hold on to at about $30.25 or so. If we do end up holding that, runs into tomorrow, that's a bullish option, right? Something that I'm personally watching for is a retest of this supply zone at about $31.70. The top of that box being at about $33.28. Pretty critical spot in which you can see those high 30s come pretty decently quick. Keep this nice and simple for you guys. We'll get you on your way, and I'm probably gonna do a little bit of sleeping. All right, guys. All right, you know what it is. Come on, drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat. Those OGs know. Lamp off. Lamp on. Lamp off. Lamp on. Lamp off. Lamp on. Lamp off. Lamp on. Slam that ass. Boom, boom, candles. Come on, baby.